All right, welcome to my daily review. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and today it sold off, or it lost 148 points, or 1.06%, and closed at 13,872. I think the most important thing about today's session, well, a couple things. I'm going to zoom in here on this chart. You can see that it undercut the 21 just barely. That's the pink line there, the magenta line, whatever you want to call it. But that low today was 13,802, and the 21 was 813. So it barely undercut the 21. So we'll have to start a new count on our power trend. Not a big deal. I just want to point out a couple things. Okay, the low of the day undercut the 21. Not ideal. It sold off Friday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not ideal, but expected after this big move here. Last week, the Nasdaq was up, 3.25%, and now this week it's down, a little more than 1%. So it's not going to go straight up. Okay, so it goes up a little and it pulls back. And I just wanted to point out the volume. I'm not a big volume guy at all, because I believe if you lose money, you lose money. If it goes down on lighter volume, you still lose your money. If it goes up on lighter volume, you still make money. It doesn't matter if it's big volume or little volume. Price is what pays. And I just want to say that this looks like it could be, whoever wanted out is out. I'm not going to say capitulation selling, but this is pretty intense selling here, way above the daily volume. This one here especially. And then it subsided, had a pink rally day here and started to rally. But, it had a 9% pullback, which was a 50% retracement from the move from May 10th. We had this move, give half back, and now we're starting to rally again. We had a follow-through day. The rally's still intact. Yes, the last 3 days have sold off. Today was lighter volume than the prior day, if that helps, matters. But anyway, I like the tailwind of the Nasdaq, and we're not getting it right now, so it makes it a little tougher. But I'm going to take a look at some stocks, because I like to trade stocks. I don't trade indexes. And this is Apple Computers. Obviously, the news from China, I guess, kind of was a part of the reason for the sell-off. I do not like this violation of the 50 or the moving averages, but sometimes when a stock wants to shake out the weak hands, it makes a violent move like this and then stabilizes and trades higher. So that's what I'm going to watch for here with Apple. I don't think this is done. It does not look good, this move here, but maybe in a couple of weeks, people say, well, I sold my stock on this day and it just ran right up to 200. I blew it. How many times have people said that, right? I get shaken out, then it moves higher. So just going to be watching Apple there. Yeah, the iPhone was banned by the government employees in China, so that's very little impact on their sales. But anyway, I'm going to move on to NVDA, because this stock was down. The ISM numbers were weak today, but this stock ran from 400 to 500. Okay, and it just pulled back. Didn't even make it down to its 21 today. Very close, but didn't make the 21, which was at 465.58, and the low was 465.80, so 22 cents. We'll call it a kiss of the 21 when it moves higher, right? But we'll see, in the coming days. But NVIDIA looks fine to me. Just had it's had a massive run. You can't expect these things to be going up every day or even every week. If we take a look at the weekly chart, we can zoom in here and see that it made that low, and every week it's had a higher low. This week, the low was at 403 when it ran to 403 and then up to 502 there. But you can see the low is 442. Last week, the low is 448. This week, the low is 465. So it's making higher lows. It's gradually getting there, folks. It's just not going to go up every day and every week. I just need to relax a little bit. To me, that thing looks fine. I would rather, personally, I'd rather buy it at 470 than 500. Seems like a better price to me. Okay, moving on. Google, this is one of the stronger mega cap tech stocks. Just pulled back to its 10 today, doing nothing wrong. There's going to be profit taking, when you have big moves like this. It went from 126 to 140 or something, 138. Yeah, there's going to be some people taking profit. So that looks good as well. Not saying buy it here, it looks a little extended, but you know, if you own it, there's no sell signs. This is Adobe and had an inside day today. I would call that a bullish inside day after a big move. You know, just shows that institutions are not selling this stock. They're just comfortable with it here at $560. So Adobe looks good as well. Oh, Tesla, I got to go to Tesla. People love to argue about Tesla. I don't really care. It's just a stock. But it has bumped up against the 50 several times, and now it's trading. And it's probably going to get a little tighter here between the 10 and the 50 here. We'll have to see, but you want to see a stock move through the 50 with power and not stall there like we're seeing with the Meta Platforms, which is you know, this is kind of like a bearish wedge here, like it sliced its 50, now it's taking forever to get through it. You want to see it power through. I would like it. I would love it if it could trade above, you know, that 50 simple moving average, which is $300 essentially, but we'll see, you know, we'll see what happens with Meta. I would like it to get off the dime here and start moving higher with some power. Amazon is another one of the mega tech cap tech stocks that I got to show, just because it's, you know, these are the ones that move the indexes, you know, the Apples, the Microsoft, the Amazons, the Googles, and this one pulled back to its 21 today, and we'll see if it finds support there. It can trade higher, but you know, this little sell-off we're having this week, it's September, it's expected. You know, the index was up, you know, 3.25% last week, so this is all, you know, just garden variety stuff. It's very normal. And I expected this September to be kind of weak still here, especially the first part of September. Anyway, I want to get to some of the strong stocks, the relative strength stocks on our leading stock list, including NVO. This one, you know, they have massive, it's the largest European stock now, I believe, past Louis Vuitton. I mean, what's more important, you know, your health or a handbag, an expensive handbag? Anyway, rhetorical question. Anyway, NVO, somebody came out today, gosh, I forget who, maybe somebody from Goldman Sachs, one of the, and said that NVO and Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly have a duopoly on the weight loss and diabetes sector, which is a massive sector. And NVO is proving, or trying to prove in studies, that their drug reduces heart attack risk by 20-25%. So if the drug is prescribed by cardiologists, that opens up another huge revenue stream for them. So this even though, you know, I always like to show the monthly because it's just a juggernaut, but even on the weekly here, it's just consolidated in the base, made this big move, and now it's just gradually climbing higher every week. Like if you own it, there's nothing to do here, you know, unless you're, you know, I'm not going to talk about options, but there are always options. Eli Lilly, this one gapped higher after earnings and just keeps grinding higher. Gosh, it was down today and it actually closed up. Yeah, so you can't keep this one down. Looks a lot like Novo Nordisk. Yeah, I know the volume's drying up here after the big move on earnings, but like I said, the price is what pays, and the price is going higher for Eli Lilly. I like that term, a duopoly. ANET. Oh, sorry, not ANET. I'm going to go to Celsius. Our friend Jonah celebrating here. Its first close above $200, and this one changed character here. You can see the big base pattern here, and then it had a little base on base pattern. I mean, this thing traded sideways essentially since November of 21, and then finally broke out in May. Just kind of went sideways though, and then gapped higher in August, early August, and that's when it really changed character. This thing is just romping higher now. You see, it's not going sideways like this. It broke out here, yeah, fine, but it kind of went sideways, and now it broke out again, and it's not going sideways, it's going straight up. And so that's a change of character for Celsius. Is not doing this anymore, this sideways action forever and a day. This thing is really moving higher. Such a change of character. This thing can go much higher. You never know. You know, stock market, I mean, they'll surprise you. So I would not count that out. Also, this thing is not going to just set up in a nice little base for you here now that it's changed character. This thing's going higher. So if you're buying it now, you're chasing it. And when it pulls back, you're probably going to get shaken out. But if it does pull back to the 10, like it did on this date and this date, and even yesterday, you can maybe use that as an opportunity instead of waiting for a base, because it's likely not going to do that. Another one of the strong stocks that we like is ELF, and this one you can see this one changed a little character here. It added a base and a base, went sideways for a long time, formed this base, then it changed character and just started romping higher. There is no base here. This thing is not based in over a year, after doing these little bases here and then trading up and then forming another little base, trading up and then going sideways and then forming a base. No, this thing's just going higher and higher and higher. And so, yeah, I know it's down, what, 2% this week, but, over time, it's trending higher along with its moving averages, pulling back to the 50 simple moving average, every so often, give you a little chance there, but it's not going to set up a base. And that's what I'm talking about with Celsius, same type of action. ANET, another one, this is kind of a play on AI. And I just want to show this relative strength as the Nasdaq was selling off. This thing is not giving up its gains here. So institutions are comfortable with these higher prices near the $200 level. So Caterpillar is another one that I like. The machinery stocks I sold off yesterday, all it did was come down to the 10 today, and I found support just holding there at $280. So Caterpillar looks strong there above the 10. Weatherford, this one's going into the S&P mid cap 400, and this one again is just romping higher. It had this base and then another little consolidation. Now it's just trading higher day by day, week by week. This one just wants higher prices. So congrats to the longs at Weatherford. I'm sorry, I do not own Weatherford. What was the other one? OII, this one's on our watch list, ready list, and it's starting to move out, showing strength here, pushing away from the base here, as you can see. But on the weekly, still believe this one, you could see the cup and then the handle is the pullback, and now last week and this week wants higher prices. So OII, Oceaneering, looks good. The other one is PR. We had this on our ready list a couple weeks ago, and this thing just romping higher. Today it pulled back, 13 cents, and it closed this gap here. It had a gap. I forget what the news was. It's going into the mid cap as well. So the high was 14.21, the low was 14.28. So it had a gap there at 14.21. Today it closed that gap at 14.08 and then closed at the 82% of its daily range. So that's showing that it's just pulling back. You could actually call that a little kiss of the 10 EMA and then going higher. But this one apparently wants higher prices as well. So the oil and gas equipment, exploration, they look strong. And I'm going to move on to the air conditioning stocks. Fix, another one of our leading stocks here at MC Stock Charts. This one, once again, broke out of the base and is just trending higher. That's a trend trader's dream right there. It did have a little 3 weeks tied in here, but just moving higher. So Comfort Systems, Fix looks good, as well as VRT. This one pulled back to its 10 today. It's had a breakout here in May, I believe. Yeah, the end of May, ran up and then broke out again without a base. So it's a gap higher, now pulled back to its 10 for the second time. So that might be an opportunity there for the quick. Like on Wall Street, the saying is there's a quick and the dead. PWR pulled back to its 10 and found support, which coincides with its this little flat base area here. So I like it. Pull back. She shakes out the weak hands. And then the institutions come in and buy it up and push it higher. Supply and demand. There's strong demand for quanta services. The other one is I got to talk about the semiconductors because they were weak today after that ISM number, but this one still trading above its 10 EMA, quite a bit above its 10 EMA, even though it sold off the last couple of days. nearly 1% today, and it's still 3.4% above the 10, that green line there. So ACLS looks good, and KLAC, another one that looks pretty similar, right? Pull back to the 50, now trading higher, showing relative strength even on a weekday today. It was up a little bit, and Applied Materials, another one I wanted to show, pretty similar, below the 50, trading higher, and now it was down 0.28%, with the Nasdaq down more than 1%. So that is showing relative strength as well. STRL, one of my construction stocks, looks like it had a little bullish inside day today. Yeah, big move up. So institutions are not selling this stock. Lighter volume than yesterday, so maybe it'll start trading tight and quiet, and maybe pull back to the 21 here, as this thing, these trend lines, these moving averages are trending higher, right? So if they pull back to them and hold with them over time, as these things rise, the price is going to rise. So really, all you have to do is just hang on for the ride. MNSO, this was on our ready list last week, I believe, or the week before, but it really blasted off here, up 2% today. Real strong stock. You can see the volume coming in, so there's big demand for MNSO as well. So I'm just going to go through some relative strength stocks. They're not on our ready list, they're not on our watch list, they're not on our leading stock list. They're just an observation of strength. This is Samsara, just trading out of this big IPO base, and it's up 2% this week. And you can see the blue dot indicating, relative strength against the S&P. So what was the other one? VST. This is one that really surprises me. It's a utility electric power, and you can see this big base, and then they pull back here like a handle, and then just blasting higher. This one is showing incredible strength, up more than 3% this week. So not anywhere near a buy area, but I'm just observing the relative strength there. Splunk, this one refuses to go down. My goodness, after the breakout from earnings, this one's been up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row. So that's a nice, you got to look at the weekly charts here. Nice breakout from that stage 1 base. So Splunk looks really strong. Viva Systems is surprising me as well. Got to go to the weekly here. You can see on the daily that it broke out and is showing strength, but on the weekly, this is just like a big stage 1 base that it's finally emerging from. So that looks pretty good. And if it pulled back any, that's still actionable there around that 212 area. AEHR is another semiconductor. I should have included this one in the semiconductor, just showing strength. That's all. That's the only reason why I'm showing these stocks. Some of them are, earnings gaps higher, like Abercrombie and Fitch gapped higher, traded down a couple of days, and now it's just buyers are coming in, pushing it higher. So Abercrombie and Fitch looks good. FRSH. This is a software stock that gapped higher in earnings, pulled back to the 21. Now showing strength, is up 3% today in a week tape. So you got to acknowledge that. You got to acknowledge the strength. There is strength in this tape, even though it looked pretty bad today. Those big technology stocks are the ones that are driving the index lower. This is Make My Trip. This is an Indian travel booking company, and you can see the big consolidation here that it broke out of. Yeah, it's down this week, barely, but an inside week so far. Had a big week last week, and didn't even make it back to its 10 EMA. So that one looks good as well. And I'm going to stop right there, except for I'm going to honor the great Steve Jobs and say one more thing. After hours tonight, AI reported. I thought they had a better than expected earnings call and revenue. And I believe for fiscal year 24, they raised guidance, if I'm not mistaken. I went through a lot of stuff this afternoon, but that one looked good. AEO, which is American Eagle, they report a strong quarter as well. You can see this nice base here. This one looks pretty good. It's down 2% after hours. It's a nice stage 1 base there. So definitely going to watch that one and how it responds to that new data point there. And the last one is Path, and that one was up more than 6% after hours. And so it's going to trade above its moving averages tomorrow. It looks like, it's trying to emerge from this, stage one area after this massive sell-off. Boy, did they IPO at the wrong time, huh? 2021, big correction now is trying to emerge from this. This is still just, like an IPO base. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. We'll do better tomorrow, hopefully. But whatever happens, we'll never give up.